Only getting the flour and the butter and stuff.
Okay, so Rose, what are you making?
Pasta.
Tell us what you've done so far.
I put 2 eggs
Yeah.
and 200 grams of flour.
Right.
So I got palaver about that. And then
I actually could eat so much of it, so nice. I want everyone to try it. Like I want
I'm so crazy to say that because like it's something that I have such vivid memories from always kind of. Oh my god, I remember those. Yeah. Now I'm like to try that.
But for any like aunt's birthday, mum's birthday, sister's birthday, friend's birthday, yes.
I'm going to make it's a vegan mulligatawny soup. Growing up as a kid, we had loads of soup, usually with lentils or some kind of pulse in there, and root vegetables. So this also has root vegetables. It's got carrot and parsnip, and what I would call turnip, because it is a turnip, but we would call a swede, and it's not a swede. So I would make my own stock for it. My mum would make her own stock, which she would make from. If we'd had a roast dinner on a Sunday, she would make it from the bones or whatever we had, but I make mine from all my veg peelings, which I keep.
It's only 95% ginger. It's a piece of shit. I don't think it is.
But so when I was growing up, it was the 1960s and 70s, so it was really seasonal. You did only ever get strawberries in the summer, and we did eat a lot of like winter type vegetables in the winter, and we just only ever had salad in the summer, and do you know what, that's actually quite nice.
Here it is, the good piece of shit ginger. Here it goes.
You could almost like tell what day of the week it was by what we were eating, so there'd be a Sunday roast on Sunday, and then Monday in the winter that would be turned into something like a curry or a stew, and in the summer it would be a salad. Friday we would always have fish. Growing up we'd always have a bird's trifle. He would make that on a Saturday night, and that was his thing. So we'd have it on the Sunday with our Sunday lunch, and it would always be served. So if it ever got served up the first one, the spoon would go into it, and he would like dig down, spot it would come out, and it would always be served upside down.
What we've got now is we've got some diced carrot and turnip, not sweet, and parsnip. Mm-hmm. So.
And even now, my brother and I still talk about, that's a dad serving of something. You know what? Often the first thing you serve, if it's lasagna or a pie or anything, the first one's always a bit ropey. If you're trying to get it, there's no kind of purchase to get things out.
I'm from my slipper socks there.
My brother and I would think something the dad would have served, or dad would have been proud of that. But yeah, I've got really odd sort of like food memories. Like I remember like I'd go, and my grandmother lived with us until I was 5, and then she moved out when my brother was born, and I'd go around to hers at the weekend sometimes and maybe stay over, and I would always have cheese on toast, and she'd always get those little silver skin pickled onions and cut them in half and just put them on top of the cheese on toast. And I'll do that even now.
New stool.
Oh yes, it's been.
There were a handful of restaurants in our town. There was like an Italian, there was a Chinese, there was an Indian. That was it. In Glasgow, there's a big community from India and Pakistan, so there was always curry houses and things. But Mum would make a curry, which for some reason always had sultanas and chopped up apple in it. but there we go. I don't ever remember my parents if something didn't go quite right in the kitchen, getting annoyed or angry. It was just kind of like, well, it doesn't matter, we can still eat it, we can salvage it and next time. And so quite a relaxed attitude to it in that way. And I think I'm a bit like that. I don't get uptight about it. And actually, I've always thought, even if something hasn't quite turned out the way you wanted to, it's still interesting in terms of like, you can kind of almost deconstruct, well, why didn't that happen, and the next time I make it, we'll do this. So,
which is this.
Yes, she had cookbooks, but there were a lot of things that she knew, and she just kind of cooked off by heart, and she could kind of like, well, I haven't got this, so I can throw this in instead. So quite confident that way, and I think I'm a bit like that as well. I do like following a recipe, but then I'll adapt it and, do various things without. I think food is there as it's not a sideshow. It's not just kind of like, oh, I'm just going to grab something quick to eat. It should actually be enjoyed and kind of like, oh, this is interesting, and what's this, and